Gummy, 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 gummy bear.
You know the pink fluffy unicorns?
What?
Back when I was still a wee lad. There was this song called Pink Fluffy Unicorns.
Oh, what is on my back?
Ta-da.
There's a present back here.
Oh, dude, way to ruin it. We're not even there yet.
Is that what that was? Oh, dude, I didn't even notice it was back there. I was so
Surprise!
confused. That was hilarious. I have all the pillows right now.
It's okay.
I feel like
I
I'm
like
have
the
like
one.
a little
It's comfy.
build a little fort over here.
Oh, do you want one more? Whoa. Maybe not.
While we're waiting,
maybe.
have y'all heard the thing about lemons?
And the crash out is insane.
All right. So a couple of days ago, I found out something very interesting. Apparently, and we looked this up. This is a real thing. Lemons are not naturally occurring. So when God made the world, he did not make lemons. They are a hybrid. But you know this? Why does everyone know this except me for some reason?
Yeah, Cord
Yo,
knew
I
it
didn't.
too.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, it's a great sermon illustration. It's like, what?
But they're made by crossbreeding a citron and a bitter orange. Yeah. So that means that life never gave us lemons and we've been lied to.
All right.
Yep.
Well, we are here. I don't know which camera to look at. Am I in both of them? Okay.
Yes.
Cool. I'll just look in the middle.
Just talk like to Lisa. Just be like, hey, girl.
Yep.
Hi.
Well, I don't know which episode this is. This is the one after the last one.
I think it's 11.
Oh.
It's not 6 or 7.
Did we do another one or was it the student?
I got to get this a little higher.
Okay.
Student's 10.
The student one was
apologize for
10, so
what
then this
happened.
one is 11. Unless y'all did one that I'm not aware of.
There we go. Okay.
No?
This is
11. All right. Episode 11.
Bing, bing.
Randy, as you can see, is not here. He did not depart from us. He's just not here for this episode. He's in our thoughts and prayers still. But today we have Hudson on for our last episode. Today is his final day in the office as a student ministry intern. And today we will be talking about vocational ministry. Vocational ministry. The reason that this kind of topic came up was so last week, was it? Yes, it was 2 weeks ago, right?
2 weeks ago,
yeah, 2 weeks ago. Our high school students that went to CIY had just gotten back. And on the last day, one of the calls to action from the programming was for the students that wanted to take on vocational ministry, wanted to accept that calling. And we had 6 different students that accepted that call. Mm-hmm. And really what we wanted to do with this episode was, one, just kind of define what vocational ministry was. What does that entail? Like, what does that mean? And just kind of encompass that in a whole. So what does vocational ministry mean to you guys?
I don't even know what it is. I had to have you guys define it for me. I was like, what's the difference between that and regular ministry? I guess vocational ministry is just working at a church.
Yeah,
Kind of?
essentially.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, so vocational ministry, I feel like this thing keeps falling on me. Me and my mic problem. Sorry, guys. This one? Okay. But vocational ministry essentially is your full-time job is whatever ministry it is, right? So whether that's that, we'll talk about all the different ways that can look like, but it is essentially saying, okay, my job is working for Jesus in some capacity, right? And that's how I sustain my living and how I pay for my bills, how I pay for my housing, everything else, right? And so I know that I've had students here and in the past that have said, so like, what do you do? I'm like, this, and they're like, yeah, but like, what else? I'm like, this is what I do. And they're like, well, what do you do all day? And I was like, well, I plan things and, different stuff like that. So it's kind of funny when you tell people that you work at a church, because they're like, So you work like 1 day a week, like 2 days a week, right? Like that's always the perception for pastors, especially lead pastors, because they're like, oh, it must be so nice because you just have to speak for 1 day out of the week and you're all good. But so much more than that. So much more than that, right? So one of the questions, I don't know if we've talked about it on the podcast before, but one of the questions we've talked about with youth partners, with people that we've interviewed for jobs, and it's kind of comes from one of my roots from when I was in college. One of my coaches always brought it up, but that's, what is your why, right? Why do you do what you do? And so I want to ask you guys that, kind of define what your why is. Why are you wanting to be in ministry? What draws you about student ministry? Anything like that?
I think for me, it's just simply I love Jesus. And so, like, think of it this way. If you love, like, your mom or your dad and they tell you to do something, you want to do it, right? It's the same thing with Jesus, except I love Jesus more than my parents, respectfully. But Jesus and, you know, God, he's called me to, like, preaching. I figured that out about 3 years ago, maybe 4. But so naturally, because I love Jesus and everything that he's done for me, my why is just because I love him, you know, and I want to make him proud.
I know mine's changed. So like when you guys were interviewing me, my why was, I don't know why I'm being called here. And I told you guys the story of the 3 different people that told me you should apply at the church. They're looking for someone in students without any of them talking to one another, just kind of fell into my lap. So now that I'm here, I'm realizing my why is because I love God and Jesus so much. And being a outsider coming into this, not growing up in the church or anything, has helped a lot of you students out with certain aspects in life.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, my why really comes from how like I encountered Jesus a lot in high school. I think like the peace that it brings to myself when like things are tough, like especially so when I was in school, it was really when schoolwork was really exhausting. You know, I had a lot of load in terms of baseball, and all in the midst of that, you have friendships and stuff. And so the peace I was able to find in Jesus through all of that was so important. And in the midst of all of that, I found like I need to be able to share this with people. And I think people need to be able to experience that same sort of peace. So we'll come back to that part, but I kind of want to talk about how you guys got into ministry where you're at now. Because for all 3 of us, I think Hudson, yours and mine might be somewhat similar. But Maddie, you have a pretty interesting
outlier. Let's go.
Story. Yep. And Randy would have had a good story to share too. I know he shared it with me before. But I'd like to hear how you guys have gotten into ministry, and you know what kind of draws you or pulled you towards vocational ministry.
To elaborate on like my past answer, I'll just give you guys the full rundown. So I was on my honeymoon back in December, and I had this strange thought pop up, like, man, maybe I should look at the church for a job, because I was out of a job all of last year, trying to find something. Nothing was coming up, just praying nonstop. And I went, okay, strange thought. I'll just keep going on my way, do my honeymoon thing, whatever. My husband, when we were driving to New Mexico, looks at me out of the blue and says, hey, you might want to look at the church. They're looking for someone. And I went, okay, strange. Didn't talk to you about this. Wild. Okay, whatever. The day we get back, my mother-in-law, without hearing anything from us, just says, hey, you should look into working for the church. They're looking for someone. And I went, all right, God, that's 3 times. I hear you. That's a calling. Let's go see what this is about. Without any expectations, applied and talked to you guys and whatnot. So the calling was kind of that 3 times, that pushing, making sure I'm listening, because I wasn't listening well. Let's be real. trying to find something my own way. And then finally, when I surrendered and went, okay, I'm going to trust you with what I need to do, where I need to go. That's how I got here.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. For me, it kind of started when I first figured out my calling. The old youth pastor, Elijah, he really helped me just understand this is kind of what the Bible is, and this is how you write a sermon. This is kind of how you do a youth group, and I've learned a lot more about that with you guys. But getting into the internship, I always knew that I wanted to be a part of the church, not just like volunteering on the kids' worship team, but like actually doing something a lot more than that, like getting a job here. And so I went to Ms. Barb last year. I was like, what like internships do you have available? Because I really want to get involved somehow. And she said, well, we have a lot. What do you want to do? And so I started out as the general ministry intern, and I learned a lot about all the different kind of ministry opportunities in the church, like communication, student ministry, children's ministry, main sanctuary type stuff. And then when that was over, I was like, that was really good, and I want to hone in a little more on specific things now. And so this past March, I think it was, I talked to Barb again and said, hey, could I do students this year? And she said yes. And then I came into that. It's been an incredible experience. And I feel like the why it's always been because I love Jesus, but it's added a little more now. And I think what's been added is to reach people kind of as I've been reached. Because I remember going to Elijah and asking him, will you be my mentor in that? And I've had 5 students come to me over the past couple of months and ask me, will you be my mentor? Which has been like truly jaw dropping, honestly. Like a college student who doesn't really know everything, but like these kids trust me enough to say like, I want to read the Bible and I want to make sure I'm doing it right. Will you hold me accountable in that? And so that why has changed to, I love Jesus, yes, but also want to help people as I have been helped.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
For my ministry journey, so in my senior year of high school, I had gone on a couple of retreats, and I really had felt a calling from God that like ministry was in my career path one way or another. And I didn't know necessarily what that looked like. Cause my experience with church was youth group and, Sunday services at that time. And I was not musically gifted, and I didn't know necessarily if I wanted to speak or anything. So I didn't really necessarily know where I fit in. So it's basically my grandparents' cousins down in Southern California. I found out that the pastor of the church that they go to and my family attended for a while, the pastor for the church there is the chaplain for the Angels. And I thought that was really cool because, baseball was my whole life at the time and has been a huge, huge part of my life entirely. And so I was like, I can take what I have learned in the realm of baseball and apply it to people that need Jesus, right? Because everyone still needs Jesus in so many different spheres. So that was where that started, and Lord willing, maybe that one day that does happen. I am able to do chaplaincy for baseball in some capacity. Right now, obviously, I'm student pastor here, and I have been equipped for this position, I think, because of my experience. I'm 24 now, so 6 years removed from being in high school, and really I feel like I can share from my experiences to help them, kind of similar to what you were saying, Hudson. And also I help with a lot of FCA stuff, and that's how I'm able to share my passion for sports. I'm able to apply that in the same way. But one of the things I kind of want to point out, so there's so many different positions in terms of ministry, right? One of the things I do want to point out is there is different qualifications or requirements for some of these type of positions. So I wouldn't say that you should be going through high school and then expect when you graduate to become a lead pastor, right? That does not really make sense, because one, you're going to have to handle people that are a lot older than you. I already have to do that because we have to handle with parents, right? But for leading a church, it is very, very heavy responsibility. Similar to being an executive pastor of a church, there's a lot of responsibility that falls on the shoulders, and wisdom is super, super important in high leadership roles, and a lot of that comes with experience, comes with age, right?
It's also not something that just like you have to meet the set of criteria with. It's something that God has to call you to do.
Yeah. No, it's definitely not just like we get put in a box, right? Like it's not, okay, I've done all these things, I can now do this, right? Like there was a time and a place for everything. And I think, some of the things that I've kind of run into in terms of ministry is based on the size of the church, the requirements might be a little bit different, right? So the church I was at previously was, I don't know, it was less than a tenth of the size of this church, right? And I had just come out of college, and I therefore would have been more prepared for a ministry position there. When I got here, I'd already had experience being a youth pastor and everything, so it prepared me to be able to be here because I had already been a youth pastor previously, right? So, but one of the things that I will say is very helpful in terms of church positions and some of the other vocational ministry things that we'll talk about in a little bit, but going to school for what you want to pursue, if you know that when you're coming out of high school, is super, super helpful, right? Hudson can share on that a little bit. He is obviously in school right now pursuing ministry. And that was one of the main reasons I've been able to get the two positions that I've had since I graduated college, was because I had a degree in Christian ministry. Right. But some roles, like pastoral roles, will probably fall in that category. But some roles might differ. You could obviously just have a normal degree or even no degree for some of these positions as well. So, but yeah, I want to ask you guys, what, in terms of positions that you've seen in a church, is like the coolest or the most niche position that you've seen before?
Well, students is the coolest, so I don't know.
Facts.
Might be a little biased with that. I think communications, a lot of the behind the scenes and the graphics and the social media posts, like I think that's just really cool because I'm into graphic design and artwork and seeing that. So seeing their creative side and making things just boop, it's just wild. It's way cool to me. Yeah, so good. Congrats.
As we applaud our communications people in this room.
I think for me, it's got to be students as well. I mean, all you do is just hang out with kids, and you're basically a kid at this point. And so it's just having fun with each other. But like, if I had to choose something else, I'd say probably worship. I mean, I'm also kind of biased to that just because I was on the student worship team for 4 years, and then I was on the main worship team for a year and a half or so. And so being able to lead just the church in worship and have that fellowship has been truly amazing. I think it's so cool just to see, like from the stage, people lifting their hands, really surrendering to God, putting their faith in him, and being able to play a part in that. Not that we're not putting on a performance or anything, and we're not worshiping for them. Miss Susie said this last weekend, we're worshiping for an audience of one, that is Jesus Christ. And so while we worship, we do not absorb the praise that's being given the worship team, but we reflect it. But being able to like lead in that sense is truly incredible. So I think that's one of the cooler ministry opportunities. Not to say that they're for sure all ministry opportunities. There aren't cool ones, but
yeah, one thing I'll point out as well, when you are deciding if vocational ministry is something for you, I pray and I hope that when you would come on a weekend service or something, you don't necessarily look at the stage and think, oh, they're up there, I would like to be up there too, right? That's not necessarily what ministry is about. It's not getting the spotlight. It's not getting to be on cameras. It's not getting to be part of a really big church or anything, right? It's about being able to serve God with the giftings that we've been called to and equipped to, right? Because that's really what we're actually about to talk about with vocational ministry, is that it's about using the gifts that God's given you and where you've been called to use that. One of the places I never actually practiced per se when I was in high school, but I probably would have liked to learn, which I thought was really cool, was always like tech was the sound booth. Like I always thought that was cool because you got to kind of not necessarily hide back there. But I liked the idea of running all the like soundboards and the lights and ProPresenter. I always like, it's so easy to pick out when words are misspelled during a sermon. So it's like always, I was like, I need to make sure that I spell things correctly when I do it, you know? So I that was one thing that always stood out to me. But as they mentioned, so we got communications, tech, media, finance. That might be one that you don't necessarily hear about a lot. Finance falls under a lot of church ministries, typically when it gets to a little bit bigger churches, because there is giving and we have to be able to make sure that we're using the finances in an adequate manner and making sure that we're preparing for lots of different things, right? Something this church does probably better than any church I know is missions, right? Both in terms of the missionaries we support. One of the things that Tomoka will always say is that we have a mission we support in every country in the world, which is absolutely crazy. And then mission trips, your mother-in-law that runs that. And I think, what was the number, like 50 something?
52, so
50,
one a week.
52 mission trips last year. It is absolutely crazy. So if that's something that you are called to, missionary life, I cannot attest to. I've never been a missionary, but that is a different life. That is a different calling. But if that is for you, God bless you, because that is awesome.
Yep.
Thrift store cafe. We have Sean Reyes that runs that ministry for us. So he oversees the thrift store and the cafe that we own and operate. Administration. So Maddie's job is our admin for student ministry.
That's me.
So I kind of alluded to it earlier that, you know, how people are always like, well, what do you do all week? Right. Well, so Maddie can obviously attest to the fact that there is so many things that have to be done throughout the week, right? There's emails that we have to answer, phone calls that we have to answer. You know, we have to return in receipts, keep track of our calendar, plan events, send in communication requests. So if you're very task oriented, administration is definitely a helpful job for you. Kind of along with that would be operations and HR. Barb and Wendy are in that sphere for us.
I thought that was crazy when I first started here. We have an HR team. I was like, what? That's like I would have never thought.
Yeah.
It's just so cool. There's so many cool teams here.
Yeah, it is really cool. And then lastly, in terms of positions that are in a church, would obviously be pastoral roles. And I said lead and executive earlier. I'm obviously a student's pastor. You have children's pastors, and there's small groups and so on and so forth. And those a lot of times require to be able to be in a competent speaking role. So let me ask you guys, what were some of the challenges that you faced when you first got into ministry, or that you've had? Both of you guys obviously have only been doing vocational ministry for a few months now. But what are some of the challenges that you guys have faced while being in a church? Because just for everyone that's listening, not everything is perfect in a church, right? People still disagree, right? We still see that in the Bible all the time, right? We have to face challenges all the time. So what are some of the challenges that you guys have had to deal with?
Man, that's tough. I don't even know. I feel like I'm still trying to get a hold on everything. Maybe just the financial side, just for our department, trying to make sure those numbers are correct and that our finance team is all good and reconciled. I wasn't blessed with knowing what 2 + 2 is. I can't do math. Like, that's way out of my wheelhouse. So that would be a challenge. A little bit more on the nitty-gritty, super detailed side of things. But other than that, like, one of the best things that at the end of the day, it's the being there for the students, being able to talk to them, that makes all of that, those challenges, like, worth it for sure.
Nice.
I think for me, it's kind of the mindset of, can I really do this? So like, I've had students come up to me, and I've had friends call me at like 3 a.m. in the middle of the night and saying, hey, I need you. Like, something's going on and I need to talk with somebody. And in those moments, I'm like, me? Are you sure? So in those moments, I'm like, I'm not really sure if I can do this. Like, if I can sit down with you and tell you, one, everything's going to be okay, or being able to say things are not going to be okay. And unfortunately, you kind of have to deal with it. But like, and that's the thing I'm looking most, I guess, the least forward to in ministry is like having to counsel somebody. Not that I don't want to counsel somebody, but like, can I really do that? Because I can preach a sermon, like that's relatively easy. I'm still learning that, but I can do it. Mm-hmm. But having to sit down with somebody one-on-one and them just pour out everything that's going on in their lives, and then me have to say, well, the Bible says you're going to be fine. Like, there are some things that I've heard, like, I'm not going to say that. Like, everything will be fine, but that's not what you need to hear in that moment. And so I feel like just kind of my mindset of just, I'm not sure if I can do this, but we know that God equips those that he's called. And so I have been called. So I know that God is going to equip me in those moments. But it's just that being in the moment and being like, I don't know if I have the words to say, truly trusting in God and saying, I don't have the words, but you do. So use me in that. I think that's probably the biggest thing for me.
I've had to use that a lot. That's like just natural. And you're getting there. You'll get there. You're doing fine.
Thank you.
Of course.
That's good. Yeah, one of the things that Randy always says is Bible college doesn't teach you this, or you know.
That is very true.
You know, right? Because he always references that when he has to mop up a overflowing toilet in the boys' bathroom, or after a Wednesday and there's something leaking out of the trash can. So that's one thing that I will point out, right, is there's so many things that happen in ministry that you can never learn in a school. You kind of just have to experience it and just go through it. One of the things that's so valuable, and another thing that school won't teach you, is the relationships that you form, right? The intentionality and the connection you're able to make with people. That is so important in terms of ministry and what we do in that avenue. But for me, I think the biggest challenge probably would be saying no to people, in the sense that, like, people will ask you of things, or you know, they will want to do certain things their way, and quite frankly, like, I don't necessarily have an issue with it, but I know I have to say no because I have to stand true to what it is, but I know it's going to upset them, right? And they're probably not going to like it. So just dealing with conflict in that way is tough. But one thing I want to point out is that vocational ministry does not necessarily actually have to even happen in a church, right? So there's a few different ways that this can happen. So there's nonprofits, right? One of the examples that comes to my mind is the Tim Tebow Foundation. They're actually based out of Jacksonville, and they do a ton of stuff for child trafficking, human trafficking. So there's lots of different positions with nonprofits in total like that. Christian schools, right? Bible teachers are needed in just about every Christian school. There's PE teachers that are needed in those schools. So those are really good opportunity if you want to be a teacher. Those are good opportunity as well. I had mentioned it earlier, chaplaincy. That can be, there's a lot of different ways that chaplaincy happens. So either it could be for sports, like I had mentioned, or they have it for like firefighters and cops. They actually have it for all the military branches, which that's a calling in itself too, almost like missionary, because you're going overseas with these troops and everything, and praying with them and dealing with really, really hard stuff. Mission organizations. So a lot of the missions we support have staff. So like Casas por Cristo has staff members, you know, that kind of falls under the missionaries area as well. And then lastly, I know this one became really, really popular when I was in college. And I think it will continue to be very popular, but that's camp staff, right? Camp staff are so important because students go to camp and they go, man, I love this camp and everything that comes with it, right? And now it's my turn to share that experience with other students, right? And so I think that's what happens for a lot of people that graduate high school, end up in ministry. They're like, man, I want to go run a camp, help with camps in some way or another. But yeah, that leads us to Maddie's mad rant today.
I have to rant about something?
Yes, Maddie always has to rant about something.
Oh, no. Okay. Besides my foot being asleep and uncomfortable and this mic stand just not mic standing.
Welp.
And lemons. And man, there's a lot of things recently. Drivers, though. Man, this morning I was driving here and I'm on Granada, just waiting in that left turn onto Clyde Morris. And this car is totally way past the lights, like about to come into the red light. But they're slowing down. I'm like, oh, cool. It's our turn. It's green. We can start going. Nope. Runs right past, and I'm in the middle of the turn thinking like, oh, you're going to stop. You can actually see. No. And I saw that they were on their phone distracted. I went, all right, dude. This isn't just a generational thing. This is an everyone thing. We need to start, and I'm so down for this, having people that know how to drive take a driver's test every year. Nobody can drive anymore.
Wow. That is a hot take.
Dude, I am so sick of getting this close to accidents daily.
Every year?
Every year. Every year, every other year. Or, hey, you're 21 to 40 or so. You can go every 3 years, and then as you get older, it cuts down, and when you're younger, it's going to be...
I feel like it should be the other way. I feel like the older you get, you should take more. Because, like,
oh, yeah, for
say,
sure.
100%.
Like 65,
yes.
You have to take one again. Because there are so many old drivers out there.
Terrifying.
That, but
this kid was,
year?
like, our age. Dang. Like, it was terrifying. Just on his phone. Okay. All right.
Chris, what do you think about that? Driving test every year?
I can't get behind the every year thing because I know that it drives me crazy to have to renew my registration every year. Okay.
You can do it every 2 years. Okay, then what about every 2 years with your 2-year registration?
I don't know how I feel. I think, dude, okay, so making people take a driving test does not solve the stupidity of using a phone while driving.
It does.
Because they're not getting them. They're not using their phone during the driving test.
Okay, but then there's also people who won't wear their glasses because it's not stylish and they can't see. And you're not going to put in contacts either because you're running late for work. All right. Then what else are you going to do besides take a test and get beat down with all the rules and stuff? So guys, you shouldn't crash your car into me. I just want to go to work.
But I feel like in the driving test, you're purposefully trying to do your best, so you're obeying all of the laws. But once you're done and they're like, hey, you're good to go, you're like, all right,
I don't know.
That pulling out.
Look, the government tracks us in our phones already, so they just need to track us a little more in our cars. That's all I'm saying.
Here's the truth of the matter, though. Okay, when you take, I don't know, I haven't taken a driving test in, what year is it, 2025?
You might need to take another one.
8 years, okay? Oh, goodness. All right.
I do too.
The last time I took one, though, okay, but when I was in driver's ed and everything, they tell you if you even go like 1 mile an hour over the speed limit, you automatically fail, right? Now, if you are going under the speed limit, there is facts that it is more dangerous for a crash to happen than if you are going, I don't know how much over the speed limit, but you are more likely to cause a crash if you're going under the speed limit.
That does not mean speed. We're just clarifying.
Yes. I definitely have not sped before.
I won't lie, it's Florida.
So I don't know. Yeah, I definitely would agree at a certain age. I don't know what point, because it's tough to tell. So my dad's almost 70 now, and he is very competent and is aware when he's driving and everything. So I don't know at what age you set that at, but I think at a certain point you definitely have to take driver tests more often. But one thing I will tell you is people get very, very upset when they get told they can't drive when they're older. But I mean,
Boo-hoo, drive better.
it's also for the safety of a lot of people.
Yeah,
So
I don't know.
that was a good one, though.
It was.
Sorry, I'm too heated to continue right now.
What's his name? So apparently Evan has like a daily beef. Is it Evan that does it?
Who?
Evan Stanton.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, has a daily beef.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So
Beef.
yeah, like has a beef
Okay.
with something
All right.
every day.
He doesn't like something.
I
and
don't
we'll
think
talk
this
to
is
somebody about
biblical, by the way.
Great.
But anyways,
it. Oh, boy. Are we about to get into blasphemy?
anyways, but no, the daily beef thing I don't think is biblical.
Oh, yeah, no. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I thought you were about to say, like, his beef was something about the
Oh
Bible.
no. But
Oh,
so my
oof.
sister has now started doing it too,
Oh,
I
boy.
guess. And one of the ones that she brought up was white Ford Explorers that are not cops.
Well,
I totally agree with whatever you're about to say.
No. It's just that her daily beef is white
Yep.
Ford Explorers
Well,
that are not cops.
I totally agree. they tick me off. I'll see
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, gotta slow down. Obviously, I'm not.
And then it's
well,
a
no, I am.
soccer mom.
Yeah. I'm like, bro, I was doing 75. I had to come down to 70 just for this. Like,
Yep.
come on. Again, not saying you should speed.
Yeah.
I agree, though. Such a pain.
Yep. It's good.
sounds like we all need to retake a test about speeding.
Oh, goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. Alrighty. Well, we'll bring it back. I don't know where we're at on time. We're doing good. But kind of just to wrap up some of the stuff on this topic. One, there's two main points I want to make sure that you guys know. One is that working in a church, in a nonprofit, in vocational ministry entirely, working in vocational ministry does not make your faith stronger.
100%. Say it louder.
The
Say it
people
again.
in the back. Working in vocational ministry does not make your faith stronger. Right. So like just because you get hired in a position does not mean that you are going to grow closer to Jesus. Right. That is our personal relationship with Jesus. We have to be able to pursue that on our own. We have to be able to want to read the Bible on our own, pray with God about what's going on in our lives. So many different facets of that. Right. Because when we were actually applying for Maddie's job or having people apply for Maddie's job, we would interview all these people. And so many of them would say, oh man, I just love the idea of working in a church, or, you know, I just really want to get closer to Jesus. And, you know, for Randy and myself, that honestly was kind of like a red flag whenever people said that, because we know that this position is not going to solve you, right? Jesus solves us, right? So that's one thing I want to point out. And then the other one that's really important is that just because you don't work in a church does not mean that you can't do ministry, right? Just because you're not in vocational ministry does not mean that you can't do ministry at all, right? There's a huge need for volunteers within a church, right? We could not do Wednesday nights without youth partners. We could not do weekend services without greeters and a safe team and a parking lot team, and so many more volunteers. There still needs to be Bible study leaders that are volunteers, and so many different positions that are volunteer positions. And really, you have to be able to pursue that ministry without being like, okay, I'm not getting paid for this, but this is what my goal of my position is in being servant of God, being a servant of God, right? And so, kind of with that, like, I want to point out that, like, maybe vocational ministry isn't for you, right? Because the world still needs chefs. They still need engineers. I like that. I don't know who put this in here. If was it you? Like artists to create VeggieTales. Great show, right?
It's a great show. Yeah.
Which I would argue almost is vocational ministry
To an extent.
to an
Well-
extent in that capacity with how they used it.
How they used it,
Yes.
yes. But being creative and still being able to plant those seeds for others. Because
Yeah.
I didn't grow up in the church and I watched VeggieTales, and look at me now.
Nice.
Just saying.
There we go. Right. So, but there's like, we need firefighters, right? We need cops. We need people that are willing to stand and take returns at H&M is the example that's coming to my mind. I don't know why. I think it's because I just got a suit jacket from them. But right, like there is a lot of like I've thought about it so many times, and John Christ actually talked about it on his podcast one time, and how he was just like he had a whole gratitude aspect on life that like it actually went down to lemons was the funny thing, but it was because like, do you know how many people this lemon took to get to the grocery store? Right, there was the person that put the lemon on the display. There was the person that put the lemon in the truck. There was the person that grew the lemon. Right, there's so many different like roles in this world, and it's just about finding where we fit in. Right, but vocational ministry, I'll tell you, is super super rewarding, but it's not for the faint of heart, because there's a lot of hard stuff that you have to deal with, and the enemy is always on attack for those that are working hardest for God's kingdom, right? So what kind of wrap it up with a couple questions. What advice would you give to someone considering vocational ministry as a career?
Don't expect it to be a 9 to 5 where you will clock in at 9 a.m. and clock right out at 5. There are days I'm done with my work, I'm at home, but I have to answer some emails or phone calls because people are needed. It's kind of a 24/7 job being in ministry. Yeah.
That's good.
I would say make sure that you have people that are going to, pull you up when you're going down the wrong trail, but also you're going to pull up as well, like accountability partners, because it is very difficult. I mean, we know this, like the enemy gets you when you're alone.
Yep.
And
Isolation.
so making sure that you have those people that are checking in with you and that you're checking in with them are very, very important.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I think, if you're pursuing vocational ministry, I believe that there would be a time in your life where you could point out that there was a calling in some form of capacity, maybe. And I would say to pray about that a lot, to make sure that's like what God has called you to. Like I said, like it's not an easy thing to do, but it is very rewarding. And the advice I would say I would give is to try to gain the experience that you can for whatever it is that you want to pursue. Like Hudson is doing an internship. Like I think that will prepare him very, very well. I did an internship while I was in college, in my college ministry, and that prepared me a lot for when I first became a youth pastor. So just trying to find ways that you can prepare yourself for whatever it is that you want to do, and whatever capacity that is. So that kind of wraps it up. But before we close this episode, we have a present for Hudson. I kind of sat on it because I was getting my back poked and I didn't really know what it was. It is Hudson's last day, and we have a gift for him. I'm gonna let Maddie pass that along.
There you go.
See what he has to say.
I'll get the card first.
That's just the polite thing to do, dude. You don't need to read the card now.
I'll read it to myself.
That's like at your birthday party where grandma put in $100 bill, but you're sitting there reading the card.
So is there a $100 bill in here?
I wish, dude. I didn't have that.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, you put Little Huddy?
Yeah, Little Huddy. Oh, yeah. Forgot to put that on there. On the podcast, Little Huddy is about to be departing us.
Thank y'all. I'll read over those more later. Let's see what this is. If this says Little Huddy.
If this says Little Huddy.
That would have been genius.
Oh, boy. I've always wanted a box. Let's go.
That's all I had in the budget.
Oh, I don't have mine.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Hang on. One moment.
It's already open.
I believe you can open it.
Yeah.
What is it?
The amount of cardboard boxes I've had to open recently.
Let's go. Oh, dude. That is sick.
Show it to the camera.
It is a disc with Tomoka students on it. I'm a very avid disc golf player. I actually have a tournament on Saturday.
You do?
No
So
way.
I will be
dude.
playing with this.
Nice.
This is awesome, dude.
Sweet.
Thank you guys so much. That means
Yes.
a lot.
Welcome.
Yes, you've been a joy to have. Been a lot of
Yes.
help. Couple camps for you this summer.
Mm-hmm.
Been fun to have on the podcast.
Taught me how to frolf, and I can't. It's very difficult.
Frolf? Oh, is that another thing that you always call it?
No.
Or was she making fun of you?
She was making fun
Oh,
of me.
okay.
Oh, it's
How do you
all
like your
out of
Frisbee?
good fun.
We'll talk after when the cameras are cut. But I do love it, though it is called a disc.
I know. I just had to insert that for you.
So why can't we call it a Frisbee?
Because it isn't a Frisbee. The plastic between a Frisbee and a disc are a lot different. This is much heavier than a Frisbee, and it does a lot more. It's like there are different types of discs. Some will go really far. Some, like this one, this is a putter, so you use to actually throw it into the basket.
Oh, yeah, because you were talking about like drivers and stuff. That's why
Yes.
it's golf and Frisbee.
It
Frolf.
is golf and discs that you use. So it's disc golf.
Oh.
So is that what you use for discus?
Yes?
What? What's a
It's
discus?
not. Use like a metal thing.
Then no?
No.
I don't know, bro. I'm confused now.
Good. Good. That's how we hope you ended the internship.
Oh, boy.
Confused.
You learned so much.
I learned so
You've
much.
taught us.
I appreciate
Yeah.
that. Y'all have taught me a lot, too. I hate that I'm leaving, but I'm really excited to get back to college and, like, some of the things that y'all have taught me, like, shown me. I'm looking forward to showing my friends there as well. And,
cool.
you know, obviously, last night I had a lot of students come to me like, bro, we're going to miss you. Like,
That's cool.
I'm going to be gone forever. I'm going to be back, Lord willing.
Nice.
I mean, I could die, but whatever. But, like, I'll definitely...
We're so like pessimistic about
Hey.
when
Really
people
are.
leave the show, man. Like,
Listen, bro. It's a possibility. I-4 is crazy.
oh, dude, it is.
Because
I
of
gotta
the
drive on it
drivers.
tomorrow.
Yes.
Because of the drivers.
You know what else is crazy because of I-4? The white Ford Explorers.
Yes. If we could get rid of white Ford Explorers and a lot of drivers, this road would be a lot better.
Yep. Cool. Well,
Yep.
thanks for watching, guys. This is the last episode that I will be on for I don't know how long, but I will have a ring on my finger the next time I am on this podcast. So
My man's growing up.
10 days till the wedding. It won't be, I don't know when this is coming out, so it'll be past 10 days then. But thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you next time. Peace out.
Bye.
Deuces.
Oh, yeah.
We got to clue that in. This is a
Deuces.
staple at this point.